Salamat berjumpa lagi. I'm Dalton Tanonaka of Indonesia's Metro TV in Jakarta, home of the Asean Secretariat.
Xin chào, I'm Phạm Cẩm Nhung of Vietnam Television in Hanoi, and this is your monthly look at the dynamic Southeast Asia region. And we begin in the Philippines, where the government and the Muslim rebels reached a landmark agreement that would end a 40-year conflict. The deal was signed on October the 15th in Manila by Philippine President Benigno Aquino and the chairman of Moro Islamic Liberation Front, Murad Ibrahim. Malaysia's Prime Minister Najib Razak looked on as a witness. Talks had been finalized in Kuala Lumpur the week before. The deal would open the way for a new autonomous region to be created in the southern Philippines by 2016. The Muslim-dominated area will have greater political power and more control over resources. But the chief negotiator from the Philippine government admitted that the agreement with the MILF did not immediately guarantee peace. A few days earlier, diplomats and security experts tackled security and regional cooperation at the 3rd ASEAN Maritime Forum in Manila. The meeting focused on protecting marine resources and securing trade routes. The hot territorial fight in the South China Sea was also discussed. 4 ASEAN members, Brunei, Malaysia, Philippines, and Vietnam, all claim parts of the South China Sea that sets them against China, which asserts sovereignty over a vast stretch of the region. China favors a bilateral approach to negotiation, while the Philippines is pushing for a multilateral framework with a code of conduct formulated by ASEAN.
Bangkok's second-largest airport has reopened to international flights. Operations at Don Muang is aimed at relieving congestion at the larger Suvarnabhumi International Airport, further out of the capital. That facility has already become overcrowded since being completed 6 years ago. Don Muang has now become the hub for low-cost airlines, such as AirAsia. After that airport authority lowered operational costs. AirAsia inaugurated its new home with a flight from Bangkok to Bali on October 1st. A wax display of Indonesia's founding father is now on display in Thailand. The lifelike figure of President Sukarno stands in the Madame Tussauds Museum in Bangkok. His daughter and former president, Megawati Sukarnoputri, joined the unveiling ceremony in late September. To help with authenticity, Sukarnoputri donated her father's cap that now sits on the figure's head.
300 international runners participated in a charity race to the top of Vietnam's tallest building. The Kieng Nam Hanoi Landmark Tower stands 350 meters tall with 72 floors. It's the official venue on the 2012 Vertical World Circuit. Runners used the building's fire escape staircase to race from the ground level to the finish line. They were divided into small groups, starting every 5 minutes. Belgian runner Omar Bekali was the winner, reaching the top in 10 minutes and 6 seconds. That was just 3 seconds ahead of Italian runner-up. Vietnamese amputee Ho Thị Huệ was among the participants in the September 30 event.
Cambodia's former king, who led that country through a half-century of politics and war, died October 15th at the age of 89. Norodom Sihanouk had been severely ill and was seeking treatment in Beijing upon his death. He ruled Cambodia from 1941 to 1955 and again from 1993 until his voluntary abdication in 2004. He had a controversial role during the killing fields years of the 1970s when 1.7 million people were killed. Sihanouk had allied himself with the Khmer Rouge regime, which kept him under house arrest. More on the country's dominating leader shortly in our Hot Seat segment.
Myanmar's next election is still 3 years away, but opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi has indicated that she's willing to be president. For that to happen, the country's constitution must be amended. It presently bars anyone from being president whose parents, spouse, or children are citizens of another country. That applies to Suu Kyi's 2 sons and her late British husband. But on recent visit to the United States, the former political prisoner said she would follow public support. Suu Kyi and President Thein Sein were in the U.S. on official visits.
Isolation through decades of military rule along with tough economic sanctions have left Myanmar with one of the oldest fleets of cars in the world. But as ASEAN Today's Marissa Anita reports, the opening of trade doors should mean new vehicles are about to roll in.
Owning a new car used to be a privilege reserved for military generals, but the middle class is now starting to go car shopping too, as ownership rules have relaxed. Prices are still high compared to other countries. At a recent expo, Japanese cars dating made between 1997 to 2002 had price tags of between $15,000 to $24,000. That's double what they cost elsewhere.
Since
pro-democracy advocate Aung San Suu Kyi won a seat in parliament in April, Myanmar's neighbors have been watching the changes in the country. Along with other sectors, the government is trying to modernize its automotive industry. It signed an agreement with a Japan car company to set up training in Yangon. The program will run for 2 years and graduates will receive certification. The Myanmar government says the partnership will increase job opportunities and transportation needs. Consumers hope that prices will then come down so they'll be able to afford getting out on the road. Marissa Anita for ASEAN Today.
More ASEAN Today is coming up shortly.
He was a king who led his people toward a fragile democracy. We examine the life and work of Norodom Sihanouk next.
You're watching ASEAN Today, a monthly look at dynamic Southeast Asia.
And we are coming to you this month from Hanoi and Jakarta. As we reported earlier, Cambodia's dominant leader for 50 years is dead at the age of 89. ASEAN Today's Zelda Savitri looks back at the life of Norodom Sihanouk through the good times and bad.
Norodom Sihanouk played a dominant role in the Cambodian politics ever since the French colonial administration crowned him king in 1942 at the age of 18. French leaders thought him to be an easier leader to work with than other candidates. He proved them wrong when he led the ultimately successful drive for independence in 1953.
It is in our tradition. I did not create anything new, you know. It is our tradition, the tradition of the Cambodian people. They resist always.
He wanted to engage in formal politics, so he abdicated his throne in 1955. He swept national elections and ruled for the next 15 years with a unique brand of personal populism that tried to unite Buddhism, socialism, and democracy. Sihanouk managed to keep Cambodia neutral from external influences. But in 1970, he was ousted in coup by the United States-backed Lon Nol. Sihanouk took refuge in Beijing, where he was invited to form a government in exile. He was chosen to lead the Khmer Rouge, an alliance of royalist and communist forces. In April 1975, the Khmer Rouge took control of Phnom Penh, paving the way for Sihanouk to return as the head of state. But within a year of his return, Sihanouk was being held under house arrest in his palace, on the sidelines while an estimated 1.7 million Cambodians would be killed in the 3.5 killing fields years under Pol Pot. Those dead included 12 of Sihanouk's family. When Vietnam invaded Cambodia in 1978, Sihanouk again went into exile. He would return again in 1991 when his son Prince Norodom Ranariddh won a general election that restored the democratic process. 2 years later, the former king reclaimed the throne and signed into law a new constitution officially proclaiming his ravaged country a democratic and constitutional monarchy. Despite of his fragile health, he was seen as a symbol of national unity and crucial to the future stability of Cambodia. Sihanouk continued to play a major political role until he announced his decision to give up the throne again in October 2004. He went to live in self-imposed exile in Beijing, where he received medical treatment for cancer and diabetes, and where he would die.
ជាទីសក្ការៈជាទីស្នេហាថ្វាយចំពោះព្រះករុណាអតីតព្រះមហាក្សត្រជីវិតតម្កល់ដោយព្រះសម្ដេចព្រះបាទនរោត្តមសីហនុដែលអង្គបានចែកគាត់ដឹកនាំល្អសម្ដេចអូនដឹកនាំល្អសោកស្ដាយទាំងហ្នឹងខ្ញុំមានអារម្មណ៍សោកស្ដាយជាក្រៃលែងពីពួកអីព្រះអង្គជាព្រះមហាវីរក្សត្រដែលជួយការពារប្រជាជនណាហើយនឹងរកឯករាជ្យភាពជូនទឹកដី
Sihanouk was one of the founders of the non-aligned movement of newly independent countries in 1956, and he successfully pushed for Cambodia's entry in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations in 1999. Zelda Savitri for ASEAN Today.
As did many world figures, United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon offered his condolences to the royal family, citing Sihanouk's legacy as a unifying national leader. ASEAN Today will continue shortly.
And we have some pleasing news if you hate to have your teeth fixed. An innovative dentist in Indonesia makes the experience musical. The story is just ahead. This is ASEAN Today coming to you from me in Hanoi and Danton from Jakarta.
And this is your monthly window into the people and places of Southeast Asia. A dentist in Indonesia's Central Java is keeping his young patients in the chair with innovative equipment. ASEAN Today's Tommy Chokro has his story.
Treating nervous kids is a challenge for dentists around the world, so Dr. Dani Gustiana got creative with his hardware. 6 years ago, he began modifying his equipment to make the office visits more child-friendly. He replaced metal parts in his drill with ceramic to reduce the scary noise, and attached an MP3 player to what he now tells his young patients is a singing dental drill.
Tanya itu masih ST12. Walaupun anak umur 4 tahun, 3 tahun mereka udah tahu.
Dr. Dani also put the face of a puppet character on the head of his drill, serving to muffle the sound and to relax the children.
Tadi sakit nggak? Nggak. Sambil dengerin musik ya. Musiknya apa? Apa tadi? Takut nggak waktu dikorek-korek giginya tadi? Gitu ya. Kenapa? Nggak sakit. Musiknya apa coba?
Ya, jadi saya bilang nanti giginya saya keramas ya. Giginya saya keramas, Pak Dokter keramas pakai air. Tapi nanti airnya tuh bisa nyanyi keluar lagunya. Saya selalu bilang gitu. Jadi itu udah selesai kan saya keringkan. Sekarang udah selesai, giginya saya andukin, Pak Dokter andukin pakai kapas ya.
This innovative dentist says the equipment modifications cost 6 million rupiah in all, or $630, and has copyrighted what he's done. And in case you're wondering, yes, adults can also ask for the music and puppets when getting their dental work done. Tommy Chokro for ASEAN Today in Central Java.
And here are several events on the ASEAN calendar. The 21st ASEAN Summit is set for November the 18th to the 20th in Phnom Penh. The JAKARTA motorcycle show rolls into the city's convention center from October 31st to November the 4th. And wine lovers can enjoy vintages from around the world at the Singapore Wine Fiesta from November the 2nd to the 4th. Eating insects first became widespread in Cambodia, where people were starving under the Khmer Rouge regime in the mid-1970s. Now, the food choice has become so popular that many high-end restaurants have insects on their menus. Asean Today's Khadija Fauzi reports.
They may not look very appetizing, but these insects are tasty. When fried with crushed garlic, sugar, salt and chilies, they are a popular snack in Cambodian markets. Now the trend is crawling beyond street stalls and into fine dining restaurants.
Insects are basically regarded as street food. People buy them by the bagful and they crunch away on them. And it's interesting that because of its popularity among the Cambodian population and among tourists, it's now been incorporated into quite innovative and clever new food at top restaurants such as Mali's, such as many of the other top Khmer restaurants around the country.
The chef at Mali's uses bugs to add a modern twist to traditional recipes. He keeps the insects alive until the last minute to preserve their freshness.
The insects flavor it have different. Like for example, if you're doing deep fry, very crunchy. When you bite, it's like crispy, smoke smell, but inside is very creamy because of the protein inside. And
the fact that insects are plentiful and don't require land for grazing makes them an environmentally friendly alternative to animal protein. But it all comes down to taste, and fancy restaurants are doing their best to make grasshopper quiche palatable to their trendy customers. Khadija Fauzi for ASEAN Today.
We love getting your feedback on ASEAN Today. Joining us with that, as always, is Durrani Sidichanya of the ASEAN Secretariat. Hey, good to see you. What's up?
Hi, Dalton. Our first comment comes from Najib, who posted this on ASEAN Today Facebook page. I'm very concerned about what's happening in Myanmar right now. He's referring to the conflict between Buddhists and Muslims in Rakhine. The world is concerned, Najib, and ASEAN is offering its help in any way we can. Muhammad has this Facebook post. I expect ASEAN Today to give information useful to each country in Southeast Asia. That's what we do every month, Muhammad. And Saicho offered this from Indonesia. My idea is one money for one ASEAN. Something to think about, but there are no plans for a common ASEAN currency. Let us know what you're thinking. Please email us at ASEANtoday.tv@gmail.com, post something on our Facebook page, or tweet us at ASEAN Today TV.
Thank you very much, Dee. You enjoy doing this, right?
I do. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Noam.
All right, Danton and Durrani, here's a cute story now from Thailand, where a police officer has made childbirth as his specialty. Because of Bangkok's packed streets, traffic cop Mana Chokosong holds a record for helping deliver the most babies on the job. He recently made his 47th special delivery in the middle of the capital rush hour traffic. The city's traffic problems are so bad that a special division of the police force gets regular medical training. Chokosong says this additional duty comes with a lot of pressure, but he says it's worth it to hear the first sounds of the baby's life. I hear your traffic is equally as bad, Danton.
That is very true, Noam, but no one comes close to the record of that cop in Bangkok, I think. And that is ASEAN Today. I'm Dalton Tanonaka of Indonesia's Metro TV in Jakarta.
Xin cảm ơn. I am Phạm Cẩm Nhung of Vietnam Television in Hanoi. Please join us again next time.